Hello and welcome. My name is Dawn. I'm a Yin Yoga instructor. In today's video, we are going to do hip openers. One posture, actually we may get to the second one, but the one that we're going to do is quite intense. It's called fire log or double pigeon or square pose. I generally just call it square pose. I'm going to show you how that's going to look here in just a second. What you'll need for today is, we are going to be folding forward, so maybe you might want a blanket to sit on. It'll help you to get your hips tilted forward to be able to fold, if that might be an issue for you. And actually 2 blankets, because if you have space, you'll see what I'm talking about here shortly, you might need to put it underneath a knee, okay? And your yoga mat if you have one. Otherwise, we'll be ready to go. So you can stop the video, grab your supplies, and let's get started. Okay, welcome back. So, square pose. Take your left leg and have it about, sit up on your blanket first of all, if that's going to be helpful for you for folding forward, if you already know that. If you're not sure how that looks, I should probably show you. So you've got your little blankie here, you can sit on that, and then you can just roll the sits bones forward, and it'll help you when you're folding. And also just help you to have a nice neutral spine when you're sitting there, not rounding into that lumbar region. Again, so left leg will be the bottom leg, and it is at basically a 90-degree angle here. All right, so take your right leg, set it on top. So you can see I'm nice and high here. I haven't started yet, so I'm going to adjust, and then down we go. So I do have some space here. I'm not too worried about it. I know it's going to get lower and lower as I breathe. What you can do is take that top leg and put it into the crease. That might be helpful for you until you find more opening in your hips. The other thing you can do is just line the legs up in front of each other. So left leg, right leg here. Doesn't matter, whichever way you have them, just make sure you switch it for the second side. And lastly, you could just come into Sukhasana or easy pose. You know, your legs sitting on your legs here. All right, so cross-legged. Okay, so I'm going to try this. Here we go. So if your leg is quite high up and it's uncomfortable and you're wishing that you'd like to put it onto something, to have a little something for it to sit onto, that's where you would be grabbing your blankets here. So however, like you'll have to adjust, find what's going to be good for you. The thing is you don't want to keep that top leg suspended here where you're gripping and you're holding. So that's not going to help us to relax into the posture. So again, the blankets, if you need more than one, sitting up on a blanket if it's going to help you to fold. You could even try a block. These blocks are hard though, so I don't really, it's not too bad. Anything like that, okay? All right, I'm going to stay here just like this for another moment. I personally like to just shift forward a bit, like fold just a little bit, and then lay my weight a little bit on that top leg. Just a little encouragement for that hip, for that right hip to open it. If you're very high with that top leg, that might not be a good thing for you to be doing. You have to be able to, find a little bit of an opening, encourage that opening. Don't be in a rush, it'll take time. I remember the first time I tried this posture, the first several times, I was probably more like this. Truth, okay? So, it's okay. It does come with time. Alrighty, first thing we're going to do, inhale to find a little length, and exhale to find some depth. So that top leg, the right leg, that top knee, you're going to fold over that knee. So you may be right here, nice and low, or you may be up higher. Wherever you're at is where you're at. This is your point of resistance. As soon as you start to feel something, just stay there. Do not strive and pull and push through that. It's not a yin posture anymore, and you might end up hurting yourself. The best thing to do is listen to your body. So wherever you're at, you start to feel something, stop. Whether you're feeling it in the hips, whether you're feeling it like the right hip or the left hip, whether you're feeling it maybe in your side body, your lower back. If your knees hurt in this posture, don't do that. Why don't you come out and come into just cross-legged? And you never have to fold forward. So I'm folding here. If it's not possible for you to do that, just stay upright and just allow those hips to open. That's the first thing that's going to happen. If you feel okay though, you could, like I said, just come even a little ways. All right. On your next inhale, make your way back up. Stay for a breath. One more breath here. And then start to fold forward over your knees. Again, only coming to where you start to feel. Inhale to find length, exhale to start folding. Maybe you can bring your hands forward, maybe you can't. Either way, it doesn't make any difference. The way the magic works with the yin yoga is that if you listen to your body and you only come to where you start to feel that resistance and you stay in stillness so as not to engage muscular activity, and you stay for time so that you can encourage the fascia, that interconnective tissue, to open. This is where you will find flexibility over time and mobility. Your mobility may increase. This works with by increasing the moisture in the joints. So with every exhale, noticing if you can find a bit more opening, a bit more softness, maybe even like a kind of like a heaviness, like you're coming deeper, you're getting closer to the earth. Just allow those sensations, just allow the feeling. All the way back up on an inhale. Once you're at the top, stay for a breath. Undo these legs. We were in it for a fair amount of time. Might feel good. A little bit of movement after some of these intense yin postures. Feels pretty good. Gets that chi moving. The prana, or life force as it's known in yoga. All right. Maybe any kind of movement. So we have the left leg on the bottom. This time we'll put the right leg on the bottom. So if you were sitting on your blanket, you might still be on it, and if you're not, you can do that. You can grab your blanket and sit on that. And this is a really neat posture for noticing the differences side to side. Okay, so sometimes it takes longer to get opening on one side than the other. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you're here and you're breathing. Notice any differences side to side. So maybe you didn't have a blanket on the one side and now you want one because you know you're going to be folding and maybe it'll feel better. Or vice versa. Maybe you don't need it on this side. But likely, if you were sitting on a blanket on the first side, you may want it on the second side as well. A few more breaths here, just finding your place. Like I said, I like to put a little bit of weight here. Inhale. And then exhale, turning towards the top knee. That's going to be the left knee now. And exhale to find a little bit of depth. So coming to where you can come to. So where you start to feel resistance. You still want to have some comfort within the posture. You don't want to go past that point of resistance because then you're going to start to engage muscular activity. So that gripping and that holding and that grasping, this is what you don't want. So if you find yourself kind of feeling tense and doing that, maybe just back off a bit. No worries. Staying here. And if and when you're ready, you could try again. But being comfortable with staying where you're at, where your body feels the resistance and where you're going to get the most out of the posture. So that point of resistance, that edge is really quite important. You don't want to push past that. Notice when you folded, did your right hip lift up? Notice if you can keep that sits bone down. So you have equal weight in both of the sits bones. Notice where you feel resistance. Now it might be different on this side than the other. Send the breath where you need it, where you feel the sensations. And then inhale to come up, facing forward, choosing to either stay upright or to fold down the middle, down the center. So you may be all the way folded, you may even have your forehead all the way down to the floor. Good for you. You may be up a little higher and good for you. So it's listening to your body. You're going to get the most out of the postures when you listen to your body, not the words that your head is telling you, but the feelings within your body, knowing that maybe you've gone too far, or maybe you could push it a bit more. But just noticing when you feel those sensations and then sitting with that and setting the breath to those areas that maybe are tensing up, and notice if you can find that softness and find that space to breathe. On your inhale, pushing the floor away from you, giving all the way up, stopping when you're upright, staying for a breath. Unraveling your legs. And maybe the windshield wipers might feel good. If it felt good on the one side, it might feel good on this side. And moving any props you have off your mat. And coming down onto your back. And settle in. First things first, just allow yourself to be heavy on the mat. A nice big inhale through the nose. And open your mouth and release. One more, just like that. And then closing your mouth and breathing normally. Bending your knees. Bringing the soles of your feet to the mat. Shift that hip over to the right. And let the knees fall to the left. Just a little reclined twist. Maybe extending your arms. Maybe having them in cactus arms. Or just keeping them on your body. And breathing. So both your shoulders are still on the mat. The twist is in the core. So your hips over to the right, your knees over to the left. You can take your left hand on that top leg and just hold it there with a little bit of weight. You can look away from your knees. You can look up towards the ceiling, towards the sky, or you can look towards your knees. Notice how it feels in your neck. And just enjoy. One more breath here. If you did turn your head, bring it back to center. And using your core, bring your knees up and shift those hips back over to the center. Stay for a breath. And then shift those hips to the left, knees to the right. And again, whatever you did on the first side, if you had your arms extended, if you had cactus arms, if you kept your hands just on your body, both of the shoulders equally weighted down into the mat, you can take that right hand onto that top leg, just for a little bit of weight there, and breathe. You can turn your head in the same direction as your knees. You can look straight up or turning in the opposite direction of the knees. Just listening to what your body wants and noticing if that feels okay in your neck. One more breath here. If your head is turned, bring it back to center. Using your core, bring your knees up. Adjust yourself. And Savasana. Oh yeah, you deserve it. Get heavy on your mat. Allow yourself to sink into the mat. And let go of everything that happened, any expectations you may have had. Whether you thought you did great in a posture or you didn't, you're here and you're doing it. Let go of any expectations and breathe. So staying in your Savasana for as long as you like. Thank you for joining me today. It's been my pleasure to offer this class to you. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Namaste.